spirit, I've seen many shores, from the West Pacific to the island of Canyo. They treat me like a son anywhere I go, and even though no one can tell, I still feel that I'm alone. I'm alone. I'm alone.
Hello.
So, we are speaking to you from the future. We're sitting here in Germany.
Very wet and windy Germany.
And we're just finalising our Orkney series. So I hope you've enjoyed the Orkney videos, and if you haven't, please do go back, start from the beginning and watch them all. Orkney was brilliant.
Incredible. Don't go there unless you're prepared to be absolutely, literally and metaphorically blown away.
It was brilliant. So great for motorhomes. There are so many places to stop. You know, from food and drink to holes and piles of rocks and
rocks standing up,
and the landscapes and the seascapes. Yeah, it was
and
brilliant.
The wildlife. The whole thing was incredible.
So I thoroughly recommend you going to Orkney. If it's not on your list, in your bucket, then I suggest maybe it ought to be. So we did think that it might help if you had an idea about how much we spent during our time there. Mm-hmm. So over to the accountant.
The total cost was £1,067.50.
And we were there for a fortnight.
Mm-hmm. It does include food, and we had food left over, which continued. So
hopefully that will help. For a fortnight away in the UK, I didn't think it was particularly bad.
The English Heritage membership helped because we had renewed our membership. It meant that all the historic Scotland sites were free.
We arrived in Orkney in a storm, and we left Orkney into a storm. And what was intended to be a slow meander down to the ferry at Newcastle turned into a where can we hide from the storm next kind of journey. The next bit of this video is to take you through that journey down to Newcastle, and I hope you enjoy it. You know, we really love seeing the numbers of views on the videos. We'd quite like to see our subscriber rate go up.
So if you haven't subscribed,
then please do. I think at the moment we're on 70, so 770, not 700 or 7,000. Please do ring the bell, because now that we are over 50 subscribers, you will get notified of new videos coming out. Good morning. What a beautiful morning. So we find ourselves at the Merkel Bay campsite, which is perhaps not the quietest, most restful place in the universe. I think the road stopped about midnight and started about 6, but we were tucked in behind the pod, so whilst it was quite sort of windy on and off during the night, we weren't too badly affected. So the campsite is £25 excluding electricity. There is a shower and a toilet and chemical waste. I think it's one of those any port in a storm sort of campsites.
It is an absolutely gorgeous morning here just outside Thurstone this morning.
Kind of belies the weather reports.
A little bit like the calm before the storm. Our plan was to go to Dunbeath Harbour to sleep tonight. Looks like a very nice spot. However,
that's not a plan. The weather forecast for Moray and Firth, which is the area of Scotland that we will be travelling down through, is for winds up to 130 miles an hour. So we are going down towards Inverness, and we're going to use a new app, or an app that's new to us.
Thanks to Emily from Ben and Emily. It's called
Can you remember?
Your Parking Space.
It would appear that we can park in such glorious surrounds as Asda's car park or
Tesco car park
Tesco car
in
park.
Inverness.
But
the glamour.
the benefit of that is it gives us somewhere that is more urban and hopefully better protected. So that's what we're going to do. So a couple of hours down to Inverness, and we'll see you on the road. We have planned our changes and changed our plans and changed our plans and changed them again. So when we left Thursday this morning, we were going to come down to Inverness and stay in Inverness overnight, but we decided to go a little bit further, so we are now at Findhorn. Yeah, it's alright, 17 quid a night. There are toilets, there are bins, there's chemical waste, and hopefully it's going to be sheltered. So the weather forecast currently says 100% chance of rain, and it most certainly is doing that. And there's an amber weather warning for high winds from about 5 o'clock this evening. Findhorn Bay itself is just over the dunes, so hopefully it's coming in southwesterly, which means it'll come in, I think, probably behind us or to the side of us. So we'll see. But that's tonight, Findhorn Bay. And then we're here tomorrow night as well, so we're just going to hunker down because the storm is going to carry on through tonight and most of tomorrow. And hopefully the weather will retract and we'll be back on track.
You can see we're surrounded by dunes, which did give us a little bit of protection from the 87-mile-an-hour gusts of wind. And here we are, Findhorn Beach. It's a bit blustery still. They've got beach huts. I think they're all privately owned these days, aren't they? You don't hire them off the council anymore, like we did when we were kids.
This is the sheltered bay entry to the Findhorn River. So 150 years ago, Findhorn was a major part of the salmon fishing industry. So this is an ice house that was built 150 years ago to store the ice that was required to keep the fish fresh as they continued their journey down to London. We visited the Scottish Dolphin Centre in Spey Bay. There's a population of around 190 bottlenose dolphins that are regularly seen in the Moray Firth. Similar to what we saw at Findhorn, these are ice houses, again used in the fishing industry. This is the mouth of the River Spey as it comes down to meet the sea. Spey Bay is protected by a long bank of shingle.
Today is the day of the height barriers.
East coast of Scotland is still very focused on the fishing industry. See all the big sheds in the boat yards we came through Bucky. So the traditional fishermen's cottages here in Orkney. Very prettily painted. To be careful we don't trap ourselves in somewhere we can't get out. Of course, we could utterly fail on that mission as we approach a car park with a height barrier. So we shan't go and see the Bow and Fiddle Rock. Well, I found the harbour all the way down there. Now we'll just see if we can find our way out. Well, here we are at Portsoy Harbour. For those of film buffs amongst you, Whiskey Galore was filmed here in 2016.
Oh, not the original?
No, not the original. No, that was a remake. Must have been. Repression in 2018, and used the film set for Peaky Blinders in 2021. As a port, in the 1700s, they landed cod, ling, skate, and halibut. In 1812, the herring industry commenced. In 1875 was the peak of the herring industry, curing 45,000 barrels of herring. Well, we have arrived at our park at 4 tonight, which was found on Search for Sites. It's called Lockton House, and it's a little strange. It's only £5 a night, no services, no nothing, and it's on a plot of land that is actually a triangle between 3 roads. I'll show you. There's a road. There is Claude. There's another road. And we're stood upon a road. Hopefully, I mean, they're all B roads, so hopefully they will be quiet. Wasn't this where they buried witches? A triangular crossroads.
A crossroads, yeah. And vampires.
Well, that'll be all right then. Witches and vampires.
Stonehaven looks like a really interesting place, but there is absolutely nowhere to park.
And we come across a public barometer on a tower that was built in 1790. It's currently telling us that the weather is changeable, which is definitely an advance on stormy.
Wouldn't disagree with that.
Mind you, today it's 17 degrees. So this is Stonehaven Bay. As you follow the boardwalk, there is a sculpture trail. So if you come and visit Stonehaven Harbour, you will see signs to the Toll Booth Museum. And this is where we learnt something. Wondering why the toll booth would be constructed on a harbour confused us somewhat, because of course we were assuming that it meant toll booth, a booth where tolls were taken. But actually it is a Scottish thing, and toll booth, all one word, actually means town house. So a bit like your administrative centre. No longer home to any commercial fishing vessels. Stonehaven Harbour is mainly a leisure harbour. Well, I would say that Stonehaven's a pretty place. Certainly worth a stop off if you're passing by.
as we were walking around Stonehaven, we saw these two houses with these beautiful clocks on them. And we don't understand why. You'd think there would be a reason, because they're really pretty. Stonehaven is such an interesting place. But the history is a little bit like, where, when, what? There's so little information. I wanted so much more.
One of the nice things about doing YouTube is when you meet somebody else, or who also does YouTube. So that's touring with the kids. Lovely to have a chat. Hello guys. Give a shout out there. Dunatar Castle is a dramatic and evocative ruined fortress located in a truly stunning cliff-top setting not far from Stonehaven. Most famously, it was at Dunatar Castle where a small garrison held out against the might of Oliver Cromwell's army for 8 months and saved the Scottish crown jewels, the honours of Scotland, from destruction. The last Earl Marshal was convicted of treason for his part in the Jacobite Rising of 1715, and as a result his estates, including the castle, were seized by the government. So if you're into walking around ruined castles, it's £13 a head for adults, but we're going to skip that bit and just enjoy the view.
It really is quite the location for a castle. I mean, I'm a bit confused as to why you'd need to defend it. It literally appears to be a rock with a causeway to get to it.
So from our park up last night, we went down to Stonehaven Harbour, and then we stopped off at the local castle, and we're now following the south coastal trail down towards Dundee, and the scenery is stunning, as is the skyscape. And bizarrely, it's 20 degrees today. Not something we were expecting at all. Had to take the jumper off. It's funny, isn't it? People say that the east coast isn't as stunning as the west. Well, I would disagree. It's different, but equally stunning. So much so we bought the book Northeast 250, which is sold by Highlands to Hammocks. It's a beautifully made book, and that gives a trail for the Northeast 250 coming up towards and around Aberdeen. So that is definitely something for the future. Well, we've moved down the coast a bit and we're now in Arbroath. Arbroath is famous for Arbroath Smokies, so we're going to go and see if we can find some Arbroath Smokies. We've got to be careful that we don't feed any seagulls in this area. We'll just have to go down there instead. So this is the marina and harbour in Arbroath. Well, by the looks of things, lobsters and crabs are on the menu. Arbroath still retains a commercial fishing industry. Well, there we are. We found some Arbroath Smokies. And this is what they look like. Arbroath Smokies and smoked haddock are not one and the same thing. Smoked haddock is a filleted haddock that is cold smoked. Arbroath Smokies are a complete fish that are hot smoked. So after our trip into Arbroath today, we thought it was an ideal opportunity to make one of our favourite Scottish soups, a Cullen skink. First of all, we chop the onion and the potato and saute it gently. We will flake off the haddock from the Arbroath Smoky. We will add that. At this point the soup will consist of the sweated off onion and potato, vegetable stock. Allow that to cook down so the potato starts to become soft. Add the cream, simmer it for about 10 minutes, salt and pepper, and you're away. So we've chosen not to stop in Dundee on the basis that we're going to come back and do the Northeast 250. And I think there's more things to look at in Dundee than half an hour will permit. So we are now about to go across the Tay Bridge. Over the Tay Bridge. So we have arrived at Craig Hall Air in Coupar, which is in Fife. It was an interesting journey. Google Maps tried to take us down a road with a 7 foot wide width limit. It was like 7 foot. What on earth's that? Smaller than we are. Anyway, we're on a farm. £7.69 this was. Here is Claude. And there is our view. How lovely. With a bit of luck, we might even see some deer. But then you know what our luck is. Might be a sparrowhawk.
Well, that would be pretty good.
Or a duck.
If we saw a sparrowhawk, that would be better than seeing a duck.
You won't see any duck seals.
Duck seals.
Well, we've arrived at Castlewood Farm just outside Jedburgh. It's a beautiful afternoon. Just a hint of a breeze. About 16 degrees, so yeah, not unpleasant. So we've taken the opportunity today to catch up on what you might call van admin. So because of the salt water on Orkney, we've decided that it was necessary to give him a really good wash. So he had about £10 worth of jet wash. Rinse after rinse after rinse after rinse. He's looking alright, he's looking quite clean and tidy. Also, we did a review on the Julka toilet some time ago, just after we had it. And I said I'd give you an update. So people say composting toilets don't smell. I challenge that. I think, to be fair, they don't smell as much as chemical toilets. And a lot of that smell, of course, is just the chemicals. But they do need maintenance. They do need cleaning on a regular basis. White vinegar is your friend. So if you spray it with white vinegar, mitigate the unpleasant smell of urine. Gents' toilets in an old pub. Revolting. But also you need, when you empty the bottle, you need to rinse it out. Keep it clean. Bit of bicarb in there. Spray it with vinegar. But it's less smelly than a chemical toilet. It's easier to deal with than a chemical toilet. So all in all, I would say that it was a good investment. Let me give you a look around this site. Glorious view from up here. A nice, very nice looking site. We are the only ones here. It says on Google Maps that it's a CL. It says on search results that it's an air. Caravan and Motorhome Club seem to have been losing a lot of CLs. They seem to be turning into airs, camper or otherwise. Quite interesting. And Claude is much happier being a clean boy. Does not like being a dirty boy. So there we are. Bit of van admin. Bit of cleaning, bit of tidying. Get the rugs out, give them a good old blow through. Washing day tomorrow. So we'll get that all sorted and then we'll be ready for off.
This is Bucketlist Hall. It was built in the 18th century by the Gray family, who were major landowners in this area. And the reason I'm telling you about Bucketlist Hall is because, apart from the fact the land is absolutely incredible, it is now the Miners' Welfare Centre, but it also has a camper air. And we'll just walk round to the air now and I will show you the facilities. There's Claude, and here are the facilities. It's £10 a night to stay here, and there is black waste, there are bins, there are actual toilets, and there is drinking water. They tell you to put your grey waste in the hedge. I'm not sure we're going to do that because that's all very well when you're camping with a bowl full of water, but when you've got a drive over waste, that's an awful lot of water. So here it is. It's nice, isn't it? It was very peaceful overnight, even though we are quite close to some busy roads, but that didn't disturb us.
Hello, it's Thursday the 9th of October and we're sitting here at the port of DFDS, North Shields, for our ferry to Amsterdam.
We are ridiculously early, but anyway, that's us. We wanted to talk to you a little bit about why this ferry. It's Google Maps will tell you to go to Dover and get the ferry from Dover, even if you put it in from here. If I sat here now and put it into my map, it would tell me to drive to Dover. However, the mileage to Dover is to Dover and then to drive up to Amsterdam.
She's been doing maths.
I've been doing maths.
I hate it when she does maths.
But I have to look at the numbers because I can't remember them. Is 638 miles, taking into account the 20-mile crossing. So I've taken that off. So 638 miles. If you then take into account the cost of driving there, using the HMRC rate of 45p a mile, that comes out at £282.
So that's £282 to drive from here to Dover.
To Amsterdam.
Ah. Okay.
Okay?
To Amsterdam.
Yeah. Then add in your cost of your ferry. Let's say we find a really cheap one, it's £120. Okay? That comes out at £407. Plus the hassle and aggravation and cost of driving all the way down to Dover, which is quite often.
I mean, from here, on a good run, let's call it 7.5 hours. So that's down the A1, down the M1, around the M25. You've then potentially got the toll to go over the bridge, and then into Nightmare Land as you go through Kent, and then Dover, which is the most delightful port in the universe.
This ferry has cost us £445.
And I think that includes dinner.
It does include dinner. Not breakfast, because we'll do breakfast when we get there.
And it includes a cabin. So we'll get on the ferry, we'll have our dinner, we can then go to bed and wake up in Amsterdam.
It seems the only sensible route to take, really.
I think so. Although we are coming back.
We are coming back that way.
Dunkirk to Dover.
Yes.
But that was for other reasons. Because we'll be travelling back with somebody else. So there we are. Thank you very much.
The reason we are getting the ferry from North Shields to Amsterdam. That's all.
See you later.
Bye.
You still here? What are you still doing here? Bugger off.
This is our cabin. It's really small. It's got a double bed, which is about the size of Claude's bed, so that's fine. We can manage with that. It has got a shower, a toilet and a sink. Back out a bit so you can see. Again, all very small but perfectly functional. somewhere to hang your clothes up, and you are provided with towels. So that's alright, we'll do this for tonight. Do you agree?
It's okay.
Here we go. We are in the observation deck called the Orca Lounge, waiting for a talk on orcas and other wildlife that we might be able to see as we cross. Oh, how we laugh. Spent a lot of childhood holidays in this area. It's where my dad was from, and I can remember watching the pilot boats taking the ferries out, or the other boats out. It's really strange to actually watch it.
Ladies and gentlemen, can all car passengers with vehicles on deck 4 and 5 make their way to the car deck, please? The captain and the crew hope you have enjoyed your voyage. Thank you for choosing DFDS Seaways, and we look forward to welcoming you aboard with us in the sea. Meine Damen und Herren, wir bitten nun die Passagiere, deren Fahrzeug auf Deck 4 oder 5 befindet, sich zum Autodeck zu begeben.
We have arrived. We are in the Netherlands. The border was intense. The queues went on forever, and people were getting shouted at for moving out of their lane they've been told to be in. The border immigration man had so many questions. How long are you staying for? We said 88 days. Have you really calculated it? Are you sure? You don't want to get an entry ban? Have you got enough money to sustain yourself? We had to show him our bank account. He reckoned we needed 9,000 euros for the stay. Goodness, but we're through. Right, next stop is Volendam for the cheese and clogs tourist attraction where we can stay overnight.
Spirit, I've seen many shores, from the West Pacific to the island of Canyo. They treat me like a son anywhere I go, and even though no one can tell, I still feel that I'm